One-foot-flipper.
Hey everybody, Paige here, the One Foot Flipper. Today we're going to look back on the last month, which is June 2025. Look at 15 of my best sales, talk about the month in general, maybe just try to get a few tips in there for you, and just the tip, I guess, and just hope to have a good time here. Oh my GoPro battery is going down very quickly. Hopefully we don't have to stop this in the middle. I put the wrong battery in it when I started because, you know, I'm an amateur at this sort of thing. Instead of putting a fully charged one on it, apparently I put one that was at 50% and it has immediately clicked down since then. It's probably my worst battery. But hey, let's get started. Alright, let's go ahead and look at my numbers for the month. These are just my eBay numbers. Sold 7,700 as you can see here. $49.99 net. I also sold about $1,000 on TCG Player, and I probably did $300 or so on Dibdit and some in-person sales. Overall, it's not bad. My expenses were pretty low. Means I did bring home more than my wife. Once again, not to insult her, just my goal in general is to try to make more money than her. It makes me feel good. Alright, these items are going to be in no particular order now, mostly because, well, it's not exciting then. And when I stuck them in exact dollar order, it stuck similar items together. Now, some of these items are going to be indicative of a class, because I will have sold many similar items at similar price points, but I'm not going to show 7 different camcorders that I sold for $100. I'll just show one and say that there were more. Alright, this first one we're going to look at is this Aeronautica Imperialis custom aircraft painted thing. This is a board game / war game thing. As you can see, these airplanes are incredibly well painted. This was one of the few surviving things left from when I bought my late friend Ed's collection when he passed away a few years back, and sold for $489.47. It did take a couple of years to sell, though. Looking for the right customer. Right customer who is both willing to put out almost $500 and to do so on a game that is dead and has no support anymore. Pokemon Sword and Shield Battle Styles Booster Pack. Factory sealed. $209.99. I sold multiples of these. You have to watch out when you sell these on eBay, because fully 50% of the time when I sell these, I end up having to cancel the order and relist the item, because that is the percentage of the scam buyer rate I am getting here. I'm getting people to freight forwarders. Freight forwarders are usually fine, but when they specifically get the zip code wrong, forget about it. That's part of a scam in which they know it'll still make it there anyway because of the street address and everything else, but since they put in the wrong zip code, they can claim in the tracking that it didn't get delivered, that it got misdelivered. Or I get them, you know, going to vacant lots, going to houses that are for sale. Every time I sell one of these Pokemon boxes, I do check up on the address. And a large number of them are brand new, zero feedback buyers with invalid phone numbers. Often the addresses aren't, you know, quite valid either, who won't answer their phone, who won't answer their messages. The fact is, you don't start off your Pokemon collecting by purchasing a brand new vintage booster box for $210. That is not how it works at all. Okay, I'm going to have to pause briefly to change this battery. This is my worst battery. This thing is going down, and I've got to try to sync 2 cameras up. 1, 2, 3. All right, we are back with a new battery in. Any of you know any tricks to get these failing GoPro batteries to get zapped back to life in some way? Because that one dropped from 64% to 9% in 2 minutes of recording. But we got a fresh one in now, and let's continue along. I don't know if you can see the mess behind me, but I have an explosion of game consoles, and I just hate game consoles. I almost want somebody just to come buy them all from me right now and for me to stop dealing with them. They take a lot of room. They take a lot of time to test. Most of them aren't worth that much money. I don't have a bunch of games to stick with them to make bundles. Honestly, I'm just kind of angry about them, and I'm the one who picked them. Oh, another similar item. This is a small Warhammer army, unfinished, unpainted. Orcs, Or sure, you know, green guys, they're common in fantasy as well. Sold for $132.70. And not much else to say about them. Oh, I got these actually from, I think I got these from viewer Zach. I can't see on the screen if I did, but if so, there'll be some money on your spreadsheet. All right, next up, I got a Braun Gillette Venus hair remover. This thing, it burns your hair off. This is one of those classic J-Ride super high sell-through rate items. It took me a week. It took me 2 weeks to sell it when it should have sold in a couple of days, but that's only because I had an older or less common box art on it. So it took a little bit longer, and I can tell that it's a high sell-through rate item too, because I'm using this $9.99 shipping on this here. I'll have to probably move my thing so you can see it. If I've got the $9.99 flat rate shipping on something, it's because it's an item that's normally free ship. I still will not put free ship in on anything. So items that I would put free ship in on, instead I put $9.99 and obviously figure that into it instead. All right, here's one of those cases where I said this one item is representing mini. Canon Mini DV Camcorder Bundle working, sold for $99.99. I sold probably 3 or 4 different camcorder bundles, all in that same price range, around $100, maybe a little bit less. I don't think any of them were more. I think I picked this one because it was the most expensive one. All right, next up. This only says $25, but I sold 3 of them to one customer. Aprilaire High Efficiency Air Cleaner. Pointing this out because this is the sort of thing that can just be sitting there at a garage sale. You can, or the thrift store. I think I might have forgot where I got these, but they could be sitting there with almost a 0 price tag on them and sell quickly and for real money. I think these sold in less than 2 weeks. One customer bought all 3 of them, and I ended up making money on the shipping. So no problems there. Another gaming miniature, very nicely painted walker. This was for a game called Dust 1947 that was based on World War II continuing on into the late 40s, and thus that 40s technology continuing to advance. It sold for $94.50, 3 years to sell. This is an example of sometimes, even at the Goodwill outlet, the booksellers either are sleeping on things or don't show up. I noticed this set here. I don't even have a complete set, but it looked kind of decent, and I did a quick check, and I'm like, yeah, these sell. And so I got them. I don't remember, I think books are 40 cents an inch at my bins or whatever, so I think I had $4 into this or something like that. It was relatively minimal compared to the $80 that they sold for in one day. No problem there. The booksellers were completely sleeping that day, by the way, because I got another set of books that hasn't sold yet, or wait, did it sell in? Another set of books that hasn't sold yet, and several other high-dollar books that had barcodes on them that were sitting right on top, and I got them. So I guess they all went to bed that day. I sold it even though it's only $17.99, I put this up because I sold 8 of these over the period of the month. These are just some sealed cards from 2002. They're both gaming cards and baseball cards at the same time, which is kind of an uncommon thing. Most of the people bought multiple, so they ended up being higher dollar items. And I got these from my friend Peter, so of course money went onto his spreadsheet. Oh no! I accidentally closed a window. This ruins everything. Well, there was a $50 change purse called Vindula. It looked like a cheap chintzy little thing that I thought would only be worth $5, but it had its tags on it. Ended up being worth $50, sold in less than a week. Hey, it's a golf club, tailor-made RBZ driver, sold for $69.99 in less than a week. With golf clubs, you gotta, I guess, look for the fancy looking ones. Drivers tend to sell most of all. I definitely end up with more drivers than anything else. This is a sealed gaming item, a Magic the Gathering Plane Chase Anthology set. $279.99. When this came out in 2016, I believe it had a $99.99 price tag on it. One of my buddies had bought several of them. He sat on them, and by the time they got to this price, he was able to have a nice hefty profit for himself and some for me as well. So all of us are happy on that. Here's an example of just keeping your eye out in the bins or for interesting looking things. Friends. You don't see a lot of Friends merch, particularly in the plush area. So I grabbed this at the bins, didn't even comp it or anything else. Got it home. It's like, oh, apparently this is a Scentsy related item. You're supposed to apparently stuff smelly stuff inside it or whatever, but it was an easy sell at $45. And some puzzles are valuable as well. My friend Metabubbles, his wife is a puzzle fanatic, so sometimes they go to these puzzle shows or puzzle exchanges. The puzzle exchanges, everything's free. You toss in your own puzzles, bring home what you want, put in what you want. And he grabbed me a couple at the puzzle exchange that he gave to me, and this one sold for $49.99. And biggest sale for the week, the Lego Green Grocer modular town set sold for $620. I would watch out for a little. I would never ever want to. You never want to claim that one of these things is 100% there, because you'll probably be wrong. Something will be missing. So I do not claim that. I say they've been played with. Probably has missing pieces. Probably has the wrong men with it. And I'm always a little wary about these things when they go out, but I've never actually had a problem with a buyer on them. All right, and I guess that's all I've got this month of sales. I've got to go back there and start tackling these consoles that I don't want to deal with. I'm thinking about calling Rad Relics and asking if he wants to drive the hour up here and just buy them all from me so I don't have to deal with them. If you know anybody who would rather call Rad Relics than deal with something, why don't you tell them about this channel? They could use the subscribers. Thanks, and I hope to see you again soon.
See, that's One Foot Flipper's nonsense video.
Alright, now that it's just us, let's do the official 1 month update on my net worth. When I started tracking my net worth, at first I accounted for the value of my house and the value of our 6 paid, which is fully paid off, and the value of our 6 paid off cars. But that was making some people lose their minds in the comments, especially when I was losing money, saying that I wasn't losing money because there was anything wrong with the American business environment or anything else, that I was losing money because I lived in a bad neighborhood, and of course I should expect my cars to continually hemorrhage value, in which case neither one of those is true. I do kind of live in the worst neighborhood in St. Charles, but St. Charles is a great city. So yes, I live in the worst part of a great city. Our home values are fine here. I can see $450,000 houses from my house without using binoculars. So now I'm just tracking the value of, oh yeah, and all my cars, we only buy cars that have already bottomed out in value, and they generally hold about the same value, maintain about the same value the entire time we own them. And when we do finally unload them, we usually unload them and replace them with another car that's kind of in that same price range. So no, those are actually pretty solid stores of value. It's you guys who buy those brand new cars or a few years old cars and you make payments. Yeah, yes, you guys you're going to hemorrhage money, definitely on paper, if not in real life, on those vehicles. But I am not. But over the last month, my deposit accounts have increased to $127,544, which is an increase of $8,150 over the last month. Pretty decent month. I wish every month could go that well. Now, one thing I'm doing to make that happen, of course, is that my wife's putting 10% of her income into her 401k, and we are both maxing out our IRAs every single year, which also brings down our taxable income. You should look into it. I'm not a financial advisor, but you know who is a financial advisor? The JDF. Where has he been? I haven't seen him on YouTube lately, but I sure have talked to him. if you want to see the JDF again, put something in the comments.